So what do you read the script one time and now you got all the fixes? I mean, for real? Okay, okay.
Orlando Jones got his first shot in Hollywood working on just about everyone's favorite series about life on a Black college campus. That's right, he worked as a writer on A Different World. He later had a cameo on the show, and he was truly ready to embrace all that Hollywood had to offer. He wrote on other shows too, including Rock, and he later co-produced The Sinbad Show, and he of course starred in Drumline. Right now, he's currently starring in Showtime's gripping series, The Good Lord Bird, We Chat.
You know, Orlando, I loved learning more about your Hollywood story when I did a deep dive, and learning that your first writing job was A Different World blew me away. But was that the first sign that you were on the right path to figuring out what it was you wanted to do in Hollywood?
No, I was on the path before then. I had an advertising agency when I was 18. So yeah, I was doing that when I was 18 and 19. And then A Different World came along with that. I got a writing job in Hollywood and I went there. And then after my writing job, I started to, to re-pursue my ambitions as a writer, performer, producer, which was always what it was for me. So,
but at what point was it that you really went full throttle and transitioning from the world of writing to acting?
When I was doing A Different World and I did the cameo, that was right at the point where they were pushing me to act. Even though after that show, I continued to write. In '95, FX was launching and they asked me to host their music show. And then from there, I went to a writer, producer on Mad TV. But the transition, I think, really for me going from I'm done with writing and producing sitcoms and acting was really then. And that was really because the politics of getting things done behind the scenes was such a crazy process that it was easier as an actor just to call it right then in the moment.
How did that kind of, shape and inform the way that you make choices?
I call it the shop side, right? The thing about the shop is you're going to get dirty in the shop.
Yeah.
So you come to work in the shop. You put your egos aside in the shop, you roll your sleeves up, you get the work done. That's what you do in the shop. I understand that there's politics that go into what's happening around the shop, but that's not going to stop the work from getting done. It can't.
Yeah.
So really, that's all you're trying to navigate. So the difficulty there for me is that I really understand and want to understand what what a writer is trying to write about. I want to understand what the story is about so that I can bring my talents to bear as an actor. So I love that work because that's what I would want an actor to do with my work. So what you read the script one time and now you got all the fixes? I mean, for real? Okay. So I think there's just I have that respect for the parties involved, but I also am aware that it's a collaborative process. And that's always what makes content great or just fun, and I think that's why I love The Good Lord Bird, because that's what it is. All the characters are fully realized. And what a surprise that a Black storyteller would realize the white character as fully as he would realize all of these other characters to paint such a rich tapestry of life during that period of time where we were more than slaves and were negotiating and spying and contributing and the rock star of the day and the enslaved of the moment. I mean, all of these different looks into our history that had nothing to do with bondage and have everything to do with us thriving despite the shackles that we were in. That's a different type of storytelling, right? It's not a victimized view of the parties involved. And because it isn't, it feels exciting to get to play people like the Railman who I've never seen before.
You know, one thing that I have always been interested in when it comes to your career is that when we first met you as an actor, you were the funny guy. You know, you were a comedian, and that's what we looked to get from you. And then you hit us with a sharp left and really dove headfirst into this world of drama and stayed there. I would love to know, you know, what made you initially gravitate towards a world that was not comedy, and if it was an uphill battle to get people to see you as the actor that you are, you know, as opposed to just the guy who can make us laugh.
You know, it's weird. I feel like it's always been, you know, you play the cards you're dealt. You know what I mean? So for me, I came from the behind the camera. When I was competing against other, you know, the Jamie Foxxes and Chris Rocks and Chris Tuckers of the world for these starring roles, they were always like, who is this dude? He's never been in a comedy club. Like, like what is going on here, right? So for me, what got frustrating about the comedic work was that it was damned if you do and damned if you don't. So if I play it for the comedy, for the sheer insanity of it all, for the wide-eyed hilarity that I believe it ensues, then you call me a coon because of my facial expressions and because of my physical comedy. If I play it too close to the vest and play it flat and play the straight man, then you say, oh, well, he's not interesting enough as an actor to be able to make that role this. But the whole point of that role is to be the sounding board for others. That's why it's so hard to do, because if you have the ability to do those other things, you don't ever want to be this person. I gravitate towards trying to tell a part of the story that might otherwise have been missed if not for this character.
Okay. Well, so far you have delivered some really fantastic characters for us over the years. And of course, this new series on Showtime, The Good Lord Bird, is right in line with all the projects you've given us. So thank you so much for all of that, Orlando Jones. I appreciate you taking time out to chat with me today.
Up next on Another Act, Octavia Spencer.